Hello lads and lassies and welcome back to my channel. As I'm Mr. Mayhem. Today we will be talking about my first month with the Steam Deck. Now, by the time this goes out, it'll have been about 2 months, but at this point it's been about a month and a half. So anyway, before we get into this, if you do enjoy this, remember to like, drop a comment, subscribe for more. You can support me on Patreon, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, links in the description. Now, I just want to say, first off, I have the OLED, not the OLED, sorry, I have the standard model of Steam Deck, but I want to talk about my thoughts about it, because I have played quite a lot of it. I think I've put about 250 hours at this point. And I want to talk about some of the games. Some of the stuff that worked, some stuff that didn't work. Didn't work. But yeah, now, first up, I just want to say, if you just want an answer of whether to get one of these, definitely. But if you want a more in-depth answer, then stick around. But now the big appeal to this to me is getting to play my PC games in a comfortable position. I don't like sitting at a desk, like making videos and then sitting at a desk to play games. I don't like that. I like playing stuff on the TV, like comfy. So this is why I got this. Now, it doesn't run everything, but everything that I've wanted to run and limiting my expectations, not like way down, but like for me, I buy a lot of new releases on Xbox, on my Series X, and that's fine. That's fine. This is for like some games that are PC only, or just the portability of it to me is great. It's also, I'm weird where if I want to replay something, I like to get it on another platform and get the achievements again. So that's another big appeal for me. But it is the main thing of, I just want to be able to play games like this, or like from my PC comfortably. And the Steam sales are incredible, and they have been. But yeah, that's the main appeal of it for me. If you're like me, where you get most of your big releases on like your PS5 or your Series X, honestly, this is probably perfect for you. Just, take your expectations down. You can run most things, which it baffles me. Like, we'll get into some of the stuff in a minute, but like just some of the stuff you can run at decent frame rates is incredible to me. And I've got like the lower spec one. I'll get an OLED at some point, but then I'm also kind of waiting for them to release a second one. But that's not the point. Either way, it's great. Yeah, so if you're like that, I definitely say get it. If you're wanting it for just PC, if you're wanting to play all the games on this, probably not. But most games run in it. Like, there's a few surprising ones. So, I have notes. Where are my notes? My notes are here. So start off, the first big thing I played on it, and I did forget to do some stuff, but these are the major ones. I played and completed Orcs Must Die 3. The game runs really, really well. I don't have any way to capture footage off of this thing, so I'm just going to leave it for that. Sorry about that, but Orcs Must Die 3 runs really, honestly, fantastically well on this. It is kind of incredible how well it runs. Yeah, I've put about 14.2 hours into it. I finished the main story. It is really good. Yeah, it runs incredibly well at about 45, I think. First time I launched it, controls didn't work at all. But then I just restarted it and it's fine. It's another thing about controls that I'll get into with some of these other games. They can be a bit finicky because a lot, and I didn't realize this until literally yesterday, you can change it from some controller layouts to all controller layouts. A lot of people like to use this for these like trackpads as like aiming, and they'll use gyro as well. I fucking hate gyro and I hate trackpads. So finding stuff for me for ages was annoying, but I've realized now that I think you can just go in and check the layout, and it can go to all layouts, not just Steam Deck. So another game I want to talk about is Black Mesa. Now, I couldn't get this game to run well at all. The control layouts were all weird. Again, not my fault now, but my fault, but I know. But I just couldn't get it to run well, like with the graphics settings. It would crash on the main menu a lot. I did get in, but then I had to like lower it down, and even then it was like 15-20 frames. It says on the game info that it runs, the default graphic settings run well. For me, they didn't. I couldn't get this to work, and I was very disappointed by that. But this is like one game out of so many that did work. I put 2 hours into it trying to get it to work. I couldn't. So I'll probably play that on PC or the better Steam Deck that comes out inevitably. So yeah, that was Black Mesa. Days Gone, I played a lot. I say played a lot. Days Gone was a game that I got on PS4 when it first came out, and I just couldn't get into it. It was the first, like, I remember when I got my PS4 in 2017, it was like banger after banger after banger after banger. Then eventually Days Gone was the moment where it was just like a brick wall. Like I just didn't enjoy it. I bought Days Gone on sale on Steam ages ago. Played it for about 6.5 hours. I liked it, but then I got bored of it again. I don't know if I'll ever finish it. It's one of those games that I keep hearing people saying it's good, but I don't know. It's not bad. I just can't get fully into it personally. So, but it does run really well on the Steam Deck. I will say that. About 40 frames per second. That's what I try to limit myself. If it's like a newer game, I try to limit myself to about 40 frames per second, so it's still smooth. And that's one of the games that I limited it to. Then Dying Light 2, there was a free weekend, so I downloaded it, and it's Steam Deck verified. I tried playing it. It crashed my deck multiple times with overheating issues on the default graphics settings, so I fucked around with it, and I've made it work. So I did end up getting it. It was on sale. I did end up getting it. I put about 4 hours into it. It's, I don't know. Like, I wanted to give it another try, and I didn't mind for the price of it. I think I paid like £15 for it. I didn't mind it. I've played through it before. I played through it on my Xbox. I don't think it's as good as the first one, personally. But I've got a video about that kind of thing coming up at some point. But yeah, it runs okay, but just be careful. Change the graphic settings when you first go in, otherwise it might overheat your deck. But yeah, that was just my experience. But yeah, we'll move on. A game that I played a lot and finished and does run really well is Planet Crafter. Now, it did crash once or twice, but that was when like I had loads of stuff in the world in a close proximity, and I don't blame it. But it ran about 40 frames per second consistently. And by the end game, when I had a lot of stuff, it's not finished yet, but by the end game of the current build, I had a lot of stuff, and I was getting about 30 frames per second, which is still fine. Game runs well. The controls are great. Yeah, that is one I do recommend on Steam Deck. It's great. Killing Floor 2 works really well. That's another game that I bought ages ago with all the content I thought, but it was all the content up to a certain point. The game runs really well. Just need to adjust your graphic settings a little bit, and then it'll run at smooth 40. Yeah, does run really well. That's another big problem with this, is like a lot of the games are massive in like download size. I have a 1.5 terabyte SD card that I already have from my Switch. But even then, and I have the 256 gig model, even then it's like, the games are so big. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's just the way of things. Let's do a bad one. I say a bad one. I downloaded Forever Skies because I normally, before I buy things on deck now, I look up people who've done videos on them, and I saw someone say, "Oh, yeah, it worked really well," and then I looked up some more stuff online on Reddit and that, and they said it ran well. But just like on low graphics settings, which I'm fine with because it's a tiny screen, so who cares? But I couldn't get to run. The second I booted in to the actual game, like I got to the main menu, and then when I got into the game, it was like 10 FPS and then 1 FPS consistent. And I tried that 4 times, and it crashed my entire deck. I couldn't get it to run, so I refunded it. And I was very disappointed because it looked really cool. Hopefully they, work on a Steam Deck adaptation. If they don't, that's fine. But yeah, don't avoid. Let's do another one. Actually, I think that is the only bad one. Yeah, that's the only bad one left that I've had experience with. Resident Evil 4 runs really, really well. Not played much of it, but it does run really, really well. on deck at least. I played it through on Xbox. Fallout 76. Actually, I'll come back to this. Fallout 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've put about 31 days, hours, 31 days worth of hours into it on Xbox. About a week on PlayStation. And I already had the Game of the Year edition on Steam Deck because I got it in sale ages ago, and I started playing through that on this as well. If you're going to play it on here, do not download the the high resolution texture pack. It will ruin it. It will crash the game inside because the lighting is just fucked. Remove that. The game will run at a smooth, consistent 40 to 45 FPS. 60 if you want to push it. I like to be safe and not have the drops. I put another 67 hours into it and got all the achievements again. I love Fallout 4. It runs really well, and it was so awesome to just play it on the Steam Deck again. I adore it. Yeah, it runs really, really well on this. I cannot recommend playing it on the Steam Deck enough. It is fantastic. Atomic Heart. This is one that surprised me. I downloaded the demo because it was on sale with the Season Pass, and it runs so well. It's insane. I didn't expect it. Like, the game had a lot of issues at launch, but it's so well optimized. It runs at 40, 45, even 60 if you really want to, if you want just a little bit of dip. It runs so well on the deck, it's insane. And I didn't adore Atomic Heart, but I enjoyed it enough to where I want to give it another chance. And now that I know what it is, because most of the time when that happens, and I give something a chance, I like it more. And yeah, I haven't played much of it. I played about 2-3 hours. My God, it runs so well, it's insane. I don't get it, but it's just awesome that you can play that on the deck reliably. Battery life I'm not going to go over because I play mainly plugged in. That's another thing I need to talk about because, anyway. Fallout 76. Now, this is a game that I pre-ordered the collector's edition just for the helmet. I knew the game probably wouldn't be great, but I got it for the helmet, and I'm happy I got the helmet. But then in lockdown, I ended up playing quite a bit of it. I think I put about 5.5 days into it on Xbox and really enjoyed it. But didn't come back to it after that, so that was 2020. Then it was on sale, and I really wanted more Fallout after 4, so I downloaded it, and I've put 67 hours into it as of a week or 2 weeks since getting it, and I'm really enjoying playing it, to be honest. I did get Fallout first because the scrap box and everything is just so helpful, and I just want to try it. So yeah, Fallout 76, you do need to adjust the settings a little bit. I did have a problem where when I first downloaded it, it would just crash constantly, but that's because there was a bit of problems with some of the files, so I just verified the files, and I've had one crash in the 67 hours since I verified my files. It is fantastic. The game itself, it's not, groundbreaking, but it is pretty good, and it's on sale all the time. If you have friends, I do recommend it. I really enjoy it for what it is. I like going in, doing the daily ops, coming out. I love the camp building stuff. Yeah, I've had a really good time with it. It does run on the low graphics setting, so it doesn't look great, but on a small screen, you don't really notice it, to be honest. It is great. Another game that works really, really well, surprisingly so, is Helldivers 2, because I didn't want to get it on PlayStation. I kind of just wanted to get it on PC and be able to play it handheld, and it runs quite well. About 35 to 40 FPS, about 30 when it's hectic, but it still runs, and I was surprised by that. And the game is great. It's Helldivers 2, you know all about it. Put about 5 hours into it, it's great. Duke Nukem Forever also runs really well. Who guessed it? 60 FPS, high settings. Yeah, played through it. I don't hate the game. It's the first time I played through it in maybe 8 years. The gunplay isn't great, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not good, but it was a fun time, and it was £2. Put 12 hours into it, finished it, never crashed. Easy clap. And I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I've put about 300 hours into this. Not 300 hours, about 250 hours. And I can safely say that it is one of the best thePurchases I've ever made. A couple more games. Fallout 3 runs great. New Vegas runs great. Arkham Knight runs really good. There's just Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies works if you're interested by that. Dead Space Remake runs well. Like, it's genuinely incredible to me that we can have like the likes of Fallout 4 portably in our hands, and it's incredible to me. Like Resident Evil and stuff like that, it's just mad. And oh, I forgot to put Spider-Man Miles Morales runs quite well as well. Although there's that one's a bit weird, where like, I don't know, I finished it. I put about 16 hours into it. I got all the achievements and everything, but the graphics, there's a decent amount of dip, like from 40 to 30 to 40 to 30. It's still good, but it's weird. But yeah, it is just insane to me that we can play all these games portably. I love it. And I highly recommend it if you're on the fence about it, because again, you get so much stuff on sale on Steam. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and if you use like other like CD key websites, then yeah. But honestly, my first month and a half with this, with the Steam Deck has been absolutely fantastic. Please ignore the grotty screen, fingerprints, etc. But I love this thing. I'm so happy I bought one. I've got my money's worth. It is incredible, and I highly recommend one. I highly recommend you get one if you don't have one, because it is very, very good. And you can get batteries and cases, and it's just mwah, mwah. It's just fantastic. I love it. But let me know what your experience with the Steam Deck has been like. I'm going to continue to love this thing so much. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you do enjoy this, remember to like, drop a comment, subscribe for more. You can support me on Patreon. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, links in the description. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.